Hello, I'm Ann Barsotti with PSP Perspectives at the Trending Technology Conference in Sacramento. I am here with Gary Schick from Quest. He is the Director and Strategic Partner and Alliances. So Gary, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So no problem. So I know today the Quest is here presenting on cloud technology, so why don't we talk a little bit about how organizations can leverage cloud and Quest computing.
Sure. That sounds great, and thank you for having us. It's a great event today.
Absolutely.
I guess before talking about that, just a quick backdrop about Quest and how we've gotten here in relevance regarding that. We've been in the market for about 30 years now, and we've had a really simple philosophy in going to market with our customers. It's how can we help? And that's really taken us in lots of different directions. So obviously over the years, it started off back in the day as a technology products company, ultimately done professional managed services, and then obviously cloud computing came along in the late 90s, and we've been doing that ever since then. What we found is there's really not one size fits all for our customers. Every customer is unique. They have their own opportunities, their own challenges, and what have you, and we've really tried to adopt through something we call Quest Flex, which is really understand really how the customer wants to consume things, rather than saying, here's my box or my widget, gosh, I hope this fits, and try and sell them something. Really ask them how that can work, whether that's on premise, in the cloud, or in a hybrid. It's really been successful and allowed us to stay relevant, really.
Wonderful. So what advantages are customers seeing as a result of the cloud strategy?
I think the biggest thing is probably just options. When you look at the traditional IT versus what's out there right now, obviously I think the big compelling reason at the outset was on the cap expense versus the operations expense. That was kind of the low-hanging fruit back in the day, but there's really a lot more to it than just the cap expense. There's no really easy button when you go to the cloud. There's a lot of, and I also want to say it's not always cheaper too. That's really a big, I think, misconception is that, hey, the cloud is cheaper, and that couldn't be further from the truth. But again, it's really gone from, if you step back and take a look at what capability you're trying to achieve, that's really at the anchor of things up there. And it's really, it used to be back in the day that the IT department would lead the projects. They'd say, hey, we have this technology, we've made this investments, and hey, business unit, here are the capabilities we can now deliver to you. And that's really turned really upside down really quickly in the marketplace, particularly with the cloud. The business units, can't always go to the IT department and get what it is they're needing and the time that they're needing it. There's no budgets and what have you. So they've really been drawn towards the cloud, and the IT departments have really gone down that road and tried to compete on one hand, and also trying how do we adopt and translate those things. So the business always has that always on expectation, right? Also because of the consumer products now, when you use your mobile device, you expect that to work, and you always have that on, and that's really been a lot of challenges for enterprises and companies up there. Hey, how do I meet that expectation? Disaster recovery, availability, of those applications to make that work. It's been a good place for us.
Would you say that the cloud then allows us to deliver quicker?
It can. So it's a double-edged sword, right? So just because it's there doesn't mean it always works for every company that's there. That's why I wanted to get back to that business outcome that you're looking to do, rather than saying, hey, the cloud is the answer.
Right.
That's not always the case. There's very good reasons oftentimes you cannot go to the cloud. There's
So
a
it's
security
not a
reason.
one-size-fits
Is
all.
absolutely not a one-size-fits-all. It really isn't.
All right, so what do you see some of the challenges facing public sector moving towards a cloud strategy and technology?
Yeah, that's a big question. When you look at the public sector, it really is kind of a special kind of a user up there, and there's both technical and non-technical answers to that. So I think from a technical perspective, I think the public sector is the ultimate service provider, right? When you look at what they have to do, both of their internal agencies and departments, their users there, their internal users. They also have a huge external base with constituents and users and the responsibility that goes with that. So there's really a lot of big technical issues that for a long time have been serviced internally. There's been a lot of processes, a lot of workflows, a lot of systems set up internally to make it work. So just because the cloud is there doesn't mean you can necessarily get to it very easily or change the systems that you have in place, right? You have people, you have skill sets, you have workflows. Again, there are non-technical issues on that side that are big issues. Not to mention the obvious things, the politics.
Right.
You've got budgets, you've got unions, and those things. And they're not good or bad. They're real. And you really have to understand in your culture and environment, really what is it that you're trying to do, and how do you do that? So we do what we have assessments and workshops, and we really try and step back from technology, and we try and talk to the lines of business and the technology, bring everybody together and say, what is it that you're trying to do? It could be a risk management workshop, it could be a cloud workshop, it could be an application migration workshop. But rather than come in with an answer, we really want to come in and say, hey, I don't know what the answer is. Let's talk about the real issues that are both technical and non-technical.
Right.
How do we move forward or not in this environment here? And again, get back to that, how can we help kind of a piece. So that's been here for us locally. We've led us to some data center opportunities, some disaster recovery, business continuity. Again, not that that's the answer, it's just a place that we've been built up over time. So I get back to that, how can we help, is really the final answer there.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, so it sounds like that the best way is to just kind of explore it and to just understand it better. Is that
And we would just invite people to have a conversation.
Right.
It's a really it's really simple and hard at the same time, but it's really just to get to it. So thank you so much for the opportunity to talk.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being here and for being part of our conference.
Thank you so very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.